just got to grab the book and we will get this show on the road. I am really in frame and my microphone is picking up my voice. Be right back with the book. Yeah, I'm back. Okay, we find ourselves in Principle 14. Just lean into it. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Ancient Chinese proverb. I just added that. Oftentimes, success happens when you just lean. Make yourself open to opportunity and are willing to do what it takes to pursue it further. Without a contract, without a promise of success, without any expectation whatsoever. To start, you lean into it. See what it feels like. Find out you want to keep going. Instead of sitting on the sidelines deliberating, reflecting, contemplating. Leaning into it creates momentum. The most extraordinary benefits of just leaning into it is that you begin creating momentum. That unseen energy force that brings more opportunity, more resources, and more people who can help you into your life at seemingly just the right time for you to benefit the most from them. Many of the best known acting careers, entrepreneurial pursuits, philanthropic projects, and other overnight successes happen because someone responded favorably to the question, "Have you ever considered?" Or, "Could I convince you to?" Would you be willing to take a look at? They leaned into it. Can't cross the sea by merely staring into the water. Rabindranath Tagore, 1913 Nobel Laureate for Literature. Be willing to start without seeing the whole path. Take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Take the first step. Martin Luther King Jr., legendary civil rights leader, Nobel Peace Prize recipient. Of course, just leaning into a project or opportunity also means you must be start without necessarily seeing the entire pathway from the beginning. You must be willing to lean into it and see how it unfolds. Often we have a dream, and because we can't see how we're going to achieve it, we are afraid to start. Afraid to commit ourselves because the path is unclear and the outcome is uncertain. But leaning into it requires that you be willing to explore, enter unknown waters, trusting that a port will appear. Simply start, then keep taking what feels like logical next steps. The journey will ultimately take you to where you want to go, or even someplace better. Sometimes you don't even have to have a clear dream. As early as she can remember, Jana Stanfield wanted to be a singer. She didn't know where her dream would eventually lead her, but she knew she had to find out. Leaned into it and took some singing lessons. Eventually got a job singing weekends at the local country club. Into it a little bit more. 26 years old, packed her bags for Nashville, Tennessee, to pursue her dream of becoming a songwriter and recording artist. 3 long years she lived and worked in Nashville, hundreds of more brilliant, talented, and deserving performers, and there were record deals to be had. Dana began to see the music industry as a room full of slot machines that paid out just enough to keep you playing. Producer loves your work. An artist considers your song for her next album. Maybe a record company tells you you're great. Rarely do the slot machines pay off with a big jackpot, coveted recording contract. After several years of working at a record promotion company to learn the business from the inside out, Janet had to face facts. There were no guarantees she could play the slots forever and grow old in Nashville. Finally, she admitted to herself that continuing to try to get a record deal was like pounding her head against a wall. She didn't realize at the time that often when you lean into it, roadblocks are put in your path to force you onto a different path. A path that may be truer to your real purpose. For every failure, there's an alternative course of action. You just have to find it. come to a roadblock, take a detour. Mary Kay Ash, founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics. Looking for her underlying motivation, Dana had learned what many achievers have, that even when you can't move forward, you can turn right or you can turn left. You have to keep moving. She discovered through some personal development courses that sometimes in order to fulfill our dreams, we get caught up in what we think is the only form that will satisfy that dream. In Dana's case, a recording contract. As Jana would soon learn, there are many ways to accomplish her goal for really pursuing. Because underneath her desire to land a record deal was a deeper motivating need. Real motivation for her dream. Use her music to uplift, inspire, and offer hope to people. I want to combine music, comedy, storytelling, and motivation with what I'm here for, wrote in her journal. I'm an artist, and my art is unfolding before me. The roadblock that blocked my path has been lifted. Golden by this new insight, Jana began to play anywhere people would let her. 2 or more are gathered, I will bring my guitar. Motto. Played in living rooms, driveways, schools, churches, anywhere she could. I'm not lost, I'm just exploring. Jana was still at a loss to figure out how to combine her talents in a way that would be helpful to people and pay her a modest income. There was no one out there doing what she could do, combining music, comedy, storytelling, and motivation. No career path already laid. No path laid out to follow, no footsteps to walk in. She was charting new territory. She didn't know where she was going or what form it would ultimately take, but she kept leaning into it. Keep leaning and the path will appear. Jana began to work odd jobs, always leaning into it, trying to figure out how to turn her passion for her art and her desire to help people into something she could make a living from. Willing to use my gifts to make this world a better place, she wrote in her journal. I don't know exactly how to use my gifts to do this, but I've let God know that I'm ready. Again, she leaned into it. Jana called churches, saying, if you'd let me come and sing 2 songs in your service, it will give you a chance to get to know me and how I might be helpful. In a few months, if you'd like to have me come back and do a concert in the afternoon. The turning point. After just 2 or 3 songs, church members would approach her and ask if she had her songs on tape. There was one song I'd only known that people requested more than any other. They'd say, I noticed a lot of people crying when you played that song. I've had a loss that's so painful that I can't cry here at church because I don't know if I could put myself back together once I start. Make me a copy of this song so I can have it when I'm alone and really feel the feelings you're bringing to me. Jana spent a lot of time making cassettes and mailing them to people. But all the while, her friends kept telling her to make an album. You got all these demos of songs you recorded when you were trying to get a record deal, they said. Just take your demos and make an album. Jana thought, oh, I couldn't do that. It wouldn't be a real album with a record company. Wouldn't really count. It would just show what a failure I've been. But her friends kept after her, and eventually Jana leaned into it one more time. Paid an engineer $100 to put together 10 of her songs, which he playfully referred to as a compilation of my 10 most rejected songs. Made the covers at Kinko's and reproduced 100 cassettes. She now laughingly recalls she thought would be a lifetime supply. As she traveled from living room to living room and a tiny church to tiny church, she set out her cassettes on a card table and sold them after her performance. Then came the turning point. My husband went with me to a church in Memphis and recalls. They didn't feel comfortable having a card table with my cassettes inside the church. They put my card table out in their new parking lot. It had just been repaved, and in 95-degree weather, the asphalt was hot and black and gooey. After the parking lot finally emptied, we got in the car and turned into the air conditioning, counting what we earned. In his amazement, she'd sold $300 worth of cassettes, $50 more than she earned all week. Freelance TV job she had taken to help. Holding that $300 in her hand, Jana realized for the first time that she could support herself doing what she loved to do. Today, Jana's company, Keynote Concerts, produces more than 50 motivational concerts a year for groups all over the world. She started her own recording company, Relatively Famous Records, which produced 9 of Jana's CDs and has sold well over 100,000 copies. Jana's songs have been recorded by Reba McEntire, Andy Susie Bogus, John Schneider, and Megan McDonough. They opened for Kenny Loggins and toured with author Melody B. Her heavy metal music has been featured on Oprah, 2020, Entertainment Tonight, and radio stations coast to coast, as well as the movie 8 Seconds. Tina Stanfield achieved her dream of becoming a songwriter and recording star, all because she leaned into it and trusted the path that appeared. You too can get from where you are to where you want to be. You'll just trust that if you lean into it, the path will appear. Sometimes it'll be like driving through fog, where you only see the road 10 yards ahead of you. Keep moving forward, more of the road will be revealed. Eventually, you will arrive at the goal. Pick an area of your life: career, financial, relationship, health, fitness, recreation, hobby, or contribution that you would like to explore, and just lean into it. Start now. Just do it. Of course, there is no perfect time to start. If you are into astrology and you want to contact your astrologer about an auspicious date to get married, open your store, launch a new product line, or begin a concert tour, okay, that's fine. You can understand that. More about Jana's work in her CDs at the Success Principle. But for everything else, best strategy is just jump in and get started. Lean into it. Don't keep putting things off, waiting for 12 doves to fly over your house in the sign of a cross before you begin. Just start. You want to be a public speaker? Fine. Schedule a free talk for a local service club, school, or church group. Just having a date will put the pressure on you to start researching and writing your speech. If that's too big of a stretch, then join Toastmasters or take a speech class. You want to be in the restaurant business? Get a job in the restaurant and start learning the business. Want to be a chef? Great. Enroll in a cooking school. Take action and get started today. You do not have to know everything to get going. Get into the game. You will learn by doing. First, you jump off the cliff and you build wings on the way down. Ray Bradbury, prolific American author of science fiction and fantasy. Don't get me wrong here. I'm a big proponent of education, training, and skill building. If you need more training, then go and get it. Sign up for that class or that seminar now. You may need a coach or a mentor to get where you want to go. If so, then go get one. If you're afraid, so what? Feel the fear and do it anyway. The key is to just get started. Quit waiting until you are perfectly ready. You never will be. I started out my career as a history teacher in a Chicago high school. I was far from the perfect teacher on my first day of teaching school. I had a lot to learn about classroom control, effective discipline, how to avoid getting conned by a slick student, how to confront manipulative behavior, and how to motivate an unmotivated student. But I had to start anyway. It was in the process of teaching that I learned all those other things. Most of life is on-the-job training. Some of the most important things can only be learned in the process of doing them. Something, and you get feedback about what works and what doesn't. You don't do anything for fear of doing it wrong, poorly, or badly. You never get any feedback, and therefore you never get to learn and improve. I first started my first business, a retreat and conference center in Amherst, Massachusetts, called the New England Center for Personal and Organizational Development. I went to a local bank to get a loan. The first bank I went to told me I needed to have a business plan. I know what that was, but I went and bought a book on how to write a business plan. Wrote one up and took it to the bank. They told me there was a bunch of holes in my plan. Asked what they were, and they told me. I went back and rewrote the plan, filling in the areas I had left out or that were unclear or unconvincing. Then went back to the bank. They said the plan was good, but they wanted to pass. I asked them who might be willing to fund the plan. They gave me the names of several bankers in the area they thought might respond favorably. Again, I went off to the bank, after bank after bank. Each one gave me more feedback until I'd honed the plan and my presentation to the point where I did finally obtain the $20,000 loan. When Mark Victor Hansen and I first released Chicken Soup for the Soul, I thought it would be a good idea to sell the book in bulk quantity to some of the larger network marketing companies, thinking that they could give them or resell them to their sales force or motivate them to believe in their dreams, take more risks, and therefore achieve greater success in selling. I got a list of all the companies that belong to the Direct Marketing Association, and I started cold calling the sales directors of the larger companies. Sometimes I couldn't get the sales director to take my call. Other times I was told, "We're not interested." Several times I was actually hung up on. But eventually, after getting better at getting through to the right decision maker and properly discussing the book's potential benefits, I made several significant sales. A few of the companies liked the book so much they later hired me to speak at their national conventions, all because I leaned into it. Was I a little scared making cold calls? Yes. Did I know what I was doing when I started? No. I had never tried to sell mass quantities of books to anyone before. I had to learn as I went. The most important point is that I just got started. Got into communication with the people I wanted to serve, found out what their dreams, aspirations, and goals were, explored how our book might help them in achieving their objectives. Everything unfolded because I was willing to take a risk and jump into the ring. You too have to begin from wherever you are to start taking actions that will get you to where you want to. That was principle 14. Just lean into it. If you're on the fence about something, just go after it. Next time, principle 15 will be experience your fear and take action anyway. Kind of in the same tune or in the same. It's okay. It's all in the name of becoming successful. That was today's. It was nice short. I skipped the episode yesterday because we were late. As I often say, thank you for any and all support that this show should receive. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Donations, Ben Stormer Show. I'm appreciative for any and all support. I'm thankful for any and all support that this show should receive. And then if you do donate, I can reinvest that into the show and buy stuff like a microphone arm, a dedicated webcam, and maybe a better setup, a better machine. Have you? Thank you so much for listening, watching. I will plan to be back tomorrow with more success principles, so please stay tuned. Hope you've all enjoyed and so much for watching. Sleep tight, have a good night. This has been your host, Stormer Show, signing out and signing off.